And so what took place in 2019-2020, you see, nothing is totally positive, nothing's totally negative. We live in a duality, a yin-yang duality of the positive and the negative together as one. And then we see the manifestations of that within that system, within that living system. And so I planted these I took them out from the other side, from what had self-grown itself. The tomatoes behind the Buddha. And in here I've put spinach. Now I've seeded spinach seeds. And this self-maintaining system, of course, it does need human intervention. I mean, it would just go wild and become uncontrollable. I returned and I created order, because otherwise everything just grows all over the place if you don't stake the tomatoes. And then eventually the straw protects from the weeds, but eventually they do start to come through. So the human-plant relationship in terms of cultivated food does require order, and I'll talk about that too in more detail, what that means. Right now in this video I'm just giving a basic overview. This is an experiment. You can see how terrible the ground is. It's depleted, stony construction material and sand. And this is an experiment. So you see it's an island, an oasis in the middle of this sandy, stony, clay environment. Some of it's like hard rock mixed with stone. Now, what created this, and I'm doing this for a practical reason, is that again, while I was gone, this is human food. These plants somehow seeded themselves from something I had somewhere. I don't know. I mean, maybe this garden is like Findhorn, or it's like a positive Skinwalker Ranch or something, I don't know. Anyway, they maintained themselves. There was no straw. I just put that in the corner to control the environment. And they were growing, but they were just tiny and not growing much, and now they're taking off. I should really harvest them now. And it gave me an idea. So what I did was I thought, okay, this is interesting. I mean, they have survived through the winter and through the storms and like torrential rain, everything you could imagine, and then the heat. And I thought, well, how did they do it? In what was basically that they were just in this on their own. No one's taking care of them. And then I thought, well, that's interesting. And so I created this small island, this oasis in the middle of a clay desert. And what I did was I thought, okay, well, I'll explain the reason later in another video, but many of you probably understand what I'm testing here. And so I laid down, I don't know, I don't think I put newspaper or cardboard down, but I put a compost layer of old soil from potted plants, and then I put a layer of straw and I watered all that in, and then on top, then I sprinkled more of that old compost, and I sprinkled the seeds on, and that is an assortment of baby lettuce, definitely spinach, and the grass you see is it's either wheat or rye from the straw. And the reason I let it grow is that their roots, not only does it hold the soil, there are not many of them, but their roots interact. It's all about mycelium, fungal interactions, minerals, sugars, and their roots interact. So I'm leaving it because it's an experiment and I want to know. And then somewhere in the corner there may actually be onion seeds in there. Anyway, it's just, yeah, that's the spinach. I just want to know what happens. So it's an experiment. It's not a planned economy. It's just like, okay, what would they do with that? And it's looking pretty good. And in the end, I guess I'm going to prove that you can grow food on a flat surface with clay or sand underneath. On top then I sprinkled a good compost material, and so far everything is growing. Oh, of course water is essential, although I could do an experiment where I don't water them, but I'm watering them because this is just a little food garden, isn't it? Now in this back area I simply have tried another experiment based on strawbale, and what I did was I had stored, because I knew I wouldn't get back, I stored turmeric and ginger in this box and left it there, and they self-generated. But the rest is planting that I have done, and that is I have just put buckwheat seeds everywhere and I packed them in with soil. So there you are. And that is the finished cardboard and chips. Cardboard and chips that is to stop the whole thing just becoming a jungle of wild plants and grasses. Now the success of what I'm doing is shown here. That's the last one. Can you see it? The fungi. The rest have gone because there's quite a few anyway. So there you have, that shows an extreme success. When you have fungi, especially in July, in extreme heat and the most terrible weather. So in this area I have these little pots holding up just a basic wood structure, into which is the soil, the compost, and in the small planters I have spinach, and in the other one I have baby lettuce, and this is tobacco plant, which protects the. It can be used as a compost material, and it protects the plants. It's an insect. Things stick to the. But also it is beautiful when they flower. Very beautiful flowers, and so that has come up again from when it died in 2020. And the turmeric has successfully reseeded from the corms on their own. But the rest is my intervention, and that is I planted onions and lettuce and cabbage, but the cabbage has been the most successful. A variety of cabbage. I can actually harvest some of those leaves and eat them. And I threw in a ton of the buckwheat seeds as a shade cover, a soil cover and a ground cover, and also to generate activity in the soil, mycelium activity. And what they've done is they're seeded, and I will get the buckwheat seeds from that. And this is just basically another experiment, how to grow food on what would essentially be wasteland with very few resources and only hard work and no financial resources. And I'll talk about that later too, because then this is something that people could do on wasteland. The only thing is, you do have to, well, this has been such a success because, again, I maintained the area, or the area maintained itself with the straw. And that allowed the plants to survive any kind of weather, any temperature, lack of too much rain, lack of rain, all of it. And so this is why they've come up. And the one thing about the turmeric is it really does like the straw. Although I'm having trouble with the ginger again. The turmeric has regenerated and all the ginger corms just withered away. I didn't harvest anything. So, yeah, but in this box here, a ginger has regenerated itself. So I have to figure that one out. But there it is. Self-made garden. And you can easily grow buckwheat in any type of soil, and you're able to harvest the seeds. You can, I've replanted my seeds for then the next cycle. It's a garden cat.